I will never retire. Not in the traditional sense anyways. And maybe that sounds strange to you, but let me explain. We've stigmatized work as something to escape, something to hate, something to run away from. But what if work itself wasn't the enemy? I've come to realize it's how we view and approach work that makes all the difference. Hi, I'm Sandra Park. I'm an engineer and a financial coach helping women in STEM control their finances so their finances don't control them. On this channel, I talk about everything from building a budget to building wealth. When I started getting my finances under control, I was learning to budget, I was actually saving money, eliminating all my debt. As the picture started getting brighter, I started realizing, oh, maybe I could retire earlier than the Social Security age of 67. So I think at one point I had a mindset shift where I was thinking and looking at the numbers I was calculating and the hypotheticals and thinking, oh, I could retire perhaps 65. I was getting more confident and better with investing and managing my money. I was thinking maybe 60. And then there are times when I was thinking it could be 55, it could maybe be 50. As you see the numbers changing and your confidence grows with money, you actually start seeing this different future than you envisioned than when you first started in your financial journey. I initially learned personal finance through the Dave Ramsey baby steps. But as I progressed and became more confident with my money and investing, I started looking for more on the internet. I was thinking, how can I get there faster and retire earlier? That is when I stumbled upon the FIRE movement. And for those of you that don't know what FIRE is, it's the Financial Independence Retire Early movement. At that point, I became obsessed with all the forums and different websites and all these famous people in the FIRE community, and I became a little bit fixated on the idea of I could retire early and just stop working completely. That's the solution to all my problems. But when I looked deeper, it wasn't really a solution. I was just getting disillusioned with work, just the grind of my career. To be honest, some of the office politics and the bureaucracy. I was starting to not become so fixated on my job title, and I wasn't deriving status from my work anymore. I had a career break in 2016, and that really helped me reshape my identity away from just being an engineer and from being an employee at my company. It kind of broadened my horizons and made me think more about my life and who I really was. Like many people, I was starting to get disenchanted with just this traditional corporate ladder, climbing the path to just work more and more to make more money so that I could work more and more eventually. I realized I was seeking an escape from a system rather than building myself up. I was starting to shift away from building up a career at a company and building up another company. I had to look at how could I build myself up. As I mentioned before, I did take this little bit of a mini retirement. In 2016, I took a career break that was supposed to last a few months, but it ended up being more like a year. I remember before I took this career break, it was an intentional career break. I just didn't know how long it would be. I remember being the planning type of person and the researcher that I am. I had to, of course, research the best way to take a break from work. I had been working since I was 15 years old, and I had never taken a break from working ever. There were two schools of thought. There were some people telling me, just relax and do nothing. Why are you planning and trying to research how to take off time from work? And there was another school of thought of people telling me, you should plan some things to be productive in this time off that you have from work. So against my better judgment, I went more with the just do nothing type of theory and philosophy. When I had this time off, about a month into just sleeping in and having no structure, I realized I craved a little bit of structure. I needed to have certain parts of my day where I did things in some type of routine, and I had to force myself to get out of the house. In the beginning, it was nice, all the sleeping in and being able to eat whenever I want and catching up with friends over the phone and having long conversations. I definitely took some nice long vacations. But after a while, you do start craving a little bit of purpose and routine and structure in your day. I had to really reinvent myself because I had been working so long and I had this career as an engineer, and I identified as an engineer at a certain company that I had worked at since college. Leaving that company was a little bit like a divorce. It was a little bit like a breakup. It was one of the longest relationships I'd had in my life. And for once in my life, I was struck with, now I have all this time and I am not an engineer and I'm not working at this company. Who am I? During this time period, I was trying to diversify my group of friends and my social network. I realized how hard it is to meet people. Everyone was asking me, what do I do? If you ever think about it, when you're meeting brand new people, after you introduce your name, the most common question people ask you is, what do you do? This time off was really enlightening, and it did help give me some clarity about my life, my career, my work situation. I did go into it a bit burnt out. I did struggle with, should I even be an engineer anymore? But I realized it was more about where I was working at and the environment and just some of the toxic behaviors and culture that was more the problem rather than just the work itself. I did like the work itself. It was more where I was doing the work and who I was doing the work with and for that was making me doubt if I should be an engineer anymore. So these are some lessons I learned from my career break. I realized that work itself wasn't so evil and bad, and I wanted work that I never wanted to retire from. Work that filled me up, that gave me purpose, that made me want to wake up every morning and want to go work on it. I also understood now that work wasn't just about the money. Before, work to me was just about the salary and pay increases and how much more money could I get and the titles and the status it could give me. I realized work is beneficial for all humans. It's more about the journey of striving and growth. And it's not so much about just an outcome. It's the journey of finding who you are through the work that you love. I also learned during this time period, it's healthy to have some amount of stress in your life. Without that stress and not having some level of discomfort, it's hard to grow. So when you're very comfortable, and I was just going about my day, and of course I was enjoying and having these nice meals and catching up with friends and taking some vacations, I realized it is good to have a little bit of stress in my life, something I'm striving for, something that's challenging, something that's forcing me to grow and learn. I also realized that no job is perfect. When we look for perfection in any job, we're always going to be disappointed. There's good and bad parts of every single job. Hopefully, the work you do, there's more good that outweighs the bad. There's unpleasant parts of every single job, and we can't take away the unpleasant parts of every job and just do what we want all the time. One thing I realized is when you have a good, solid financial foundation, we can all pursue work that fulfills us, that is not about salary and chasing a title or an income. Work becomes fulfilling when it's aligned with our values, it's providing growth in our life, it lets us contribute, and humans are meant to create and add value and challenge themselves. Work to me is about the process of becoming and discovering new skills, solving problems, and making a difference. While no job is perfect, meaningful work provides a sense of purpose that makes the effort worthwhile. Now we're going to shift to me talking about why I built a business, because this all leads into this journey of why would I start a business while I'm working a 9-to-5. I started my side business of being a financial coach, helping women in STEM with their money, because it aligns so much with my purpose and passion. I get to serve the people that I'm most passionate about serving, and to me, my financial journey and getting control of my finances is the number one thing that has drastically changed and transformed everything in my life, and why would I not want that for other people? This is the type of work that I'll never retire from, even if one day I retire from engineering. Work doesn't have to define you. It could be a source of creativity and impact when it's more than just about the money. No, I'll never retire, not from work that matters to me. Maybe I'll stop working for money one day, but I'll always be striving towards something, because work, when it's about growth and purpose, isn't something to escape. It's something to embrace. Life isn't about reaching the end of the road. It's about the journey, the striving, and who you become along the way. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you at all, please subscribe to my channel. It's the little bit that you can pour into me so that I can pour back into you. Let me know in the comments, what type of work would you never retire from?